But in this case, what we're using for practice mode and combo training to see what is a combo, what isn't a combo, this is very serviceable and it does the job. And it's a lot easier because backdashes cover highs, mids, and lows, overheads. It covers the whole 9 yards, so you don't have to worry about complicating, you know, trying to worry about if you're low really connected or if you're mid connected or blah, so on and so forth. So that's the main thing you want to have set up is your backdash for player 2, and put it on a button that's easily accessible. For me, I have it on my pad, which is R2. So because of this, anytime I press R2, he's going to backdash, right? So if anything isn't a combo, when I start my hit, I'll just hold R2 and just keep holding it, because as long as you hold it, he's just going to continue to do the backdash no matter what. And so that's how I know whether whatever I did was true or wasn't true. So all that's a combo. That's a combo right there. That's not a combo right there. You know, it is what it is, but that's a combo right there. But there's some stuff, like one of the most common things I see in the facts and in some other videos, they say you want to hold forward after you confirm a hit so that they don't get pushed too far away, you know, and you can continue your assault. That's not a thing in this game. Regardless of whether you hold forward or not, it does not have any bearings on what you can do in a combo, because the moment you go forward is the moment that they can act. You know, the moment you go forward, they're out of there, right? This right here, that's true, but it may not seem like it is because it's a little strict. I wish I could turn the music off. I got a lot of hot sauce for this game, and we're going to talk about a hefty bit of it. All right, same characters. All right, there we go. The most complicated thing to do for her, for characters in this game, but for her, it's a little questionable, right? You may think you need to walk forward a bit, you know. You may think you need to walk forward a little bit, or if you like trying to get like a couple of lights in and then try to mix it in with the heavy, like so. Right. Anyways, you get the point. Like sometimes the timing is very strictly. It's very strictly. You don't have to walk forward to ensure that you can close the distance and get better frame advantage or so something to that nature. You don't have to do that. You just have to get a better feel for the timing, because it's very, 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 very specific. You can't be too early. You have to be exactly on point, or you become a little bit late. And if you're a little bit late for some of these change, then you're just too late and they're going to be able to get out of it, you know. So that's another thing that is very misconstrued with information regarding this game, is that you have to walk forward, and you know, so that's not the case. A lot of things that maybe people couldn't test, or just things that just it seems like it could be true, right? If you're doing it on the computers, if you're doing it and you're landing it consistently, it may seem like it is a legit tactic that works, that is true. And you know, what is a competitive scene? It works on the computers, that's good enough, right? You know, that sort of thing. But I'm looking at it from the approach of versus an actual person. A lot of the stuff out there is not a true method, right? So you just have to keep that in mind, because there's some combos that are listed out there that's like, really, that's possible, really, and I've been trying to do them, and you know, like with Patchet, it's like you want to do like start off with like a light punch, crouch punch, standing light kick, hold, make sure that you're holding forward, light kick, crouching light kick, and then go into like her uppercut, you know. And I was like, are you seriously? You serious? Like you could do all this and this is all connects? light kick, crouch, light kick, crouch, up, and it's like make sure that you're holding forward the whole time. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, well, no. And then I've come to learn that that's not legit, you know. So that's one thing. What is legit is there is some crazy BS in this game, right? Like this right here. Let me see. That's a combo right there. Right, there's conversions off of air punishes, or specifically off of landing. Right, anytime that they're landing, they're vulnerable. I'm trying to get this. It's hard when they're just straight out there, but there you go. So whenever you're landing, there's one frame where they can't block, but they can be hit on the ground and you can start something. So the main method of combos in this game, the structure for this game, the real structure for combos in this game that gets really funky is situations where you knock them out the air, you chase them down with a dash, and then you pick them up within that one frame of them landing, and that's all a true combo, right? So this, something like this, hold on, that's a combo, right? I knock them out the air, they jump in for a kick, or maybe I like jump in for a kick. That's a combo right there, right? He trades his kick, I trade with a light special, which happens to trade, gives me the advantage, gives me a double stun or air stun property, which makes them stay in the air longer. And I pick them up on the ground, continue whatever I can get after that. You know, that's all part of the sauce, right? And it varies between matchup and matchup. And there's a lot of various pickups and ways that you can use this. And of course, doing it in an actual match is where it becomes like you got to be so aware and alert of what's happening, what's coming. You know, and most characters can do it off of their specials, which is what you want, because their specials have iframes on them that give them the properties and advantage. Like if I time it, like as soon as that kick would hit me, I would probably just iframe through it. You know, I just iframe through it and I just get the hit instead. But I can specifically choose that, hey, I'm gonna trade with that and I'm gonna pick up instead. Let me try to get a big punish off of his jumping. Let's see if I can get a big punish. At the time. Right. So I have to be like as soon as. Right. So off of that one jump in, I took off 45% of his life, you know, and there's situations like that where you could just make that call, and some characters have it better than others, right? Like for hers, he has to time it a bit. He has to time it because light specials typically just iframe through everything. Typically, not every character or not every move, but typically that's light special properties. Her light special iframes do a lot, so we have to like time it where maybe that one moment where it doesn't iframe through it and it causes a trade scenario instead, right? And I get this a stun effect on them because of that. In other scenarios, we want to use a heavy version of a special. Like for her, it's her uppercuts. So that's her light uppercut, her double uppercut. Her heavy is something that doesn't have iframes on it, or at least not much that is worth doing in a clutch situation, right? For her, as long as I trade on that first hit, I could get that same effect, and I could try to pick up off of that, you know. So this is very situational. But typically, heavies trade a whole lot more. So in this scenario, it's a lot more reliable in getting that air pickup punish combo. You know, it's a lot more reliable in getting that. As long as they make contact with each other, you know, as long as there's contact made, I can pick up off of it. You know, as long as they don't, like if they do a heavy, which it's kind of hard to test a heavy because heavies, if they do a heavy, then, you know, heavies in the air knockdown. So in that situation, you know, good on him. You know, he got me. But if he throws a light out there, then, you know, we know the story. We know the story. But, you know, you have to be situational and aware where you are on the field. And also there's the fact that there is a speed taunt in this game, which increases your lateral movement, you know, and allows you to pick up more, cover more ground, cover more vertically, and allows you to get more opportunities off of these scenarios. So yeah, these are all things that I already talked about in the past. I did mention unblockable setups, and I mentioned that a couple characters had unblockable throw setups. I'm starting to figure out that every character has an unblockable throw setup, but not just an unblockable throw setup. Every character has seemingly just unblockable setups, period. You know, throw setups and otherwise. And we're going to showcase this by setting up a motion where they move backwards. So for this, I'm going to have the back motion for him being right trigger or R2. So I'm gonna have his moving right, and I'm gonna put it on R2. And so R2, he's moving backwards, right? Double tap it, he dashes. I'm also going to have his R2 being crouch or down. So now, if I press R2, he's moving backwards, he's crouching all at the same time, right? So he's just going to block everything, unless it's an overhead. So, also what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to map number 2, and I'm going to have a button I'm going to be using with Patchet, which is light kick. And I'm going to put light kick on his right motion, right? So now whenever I throw out a right kick, he's also going to guard, all right? And I hold R2, he's going to crouch and guard, right? Probably could have done, you know, a better mapping choice, but it covers all the bases either way. So I got a light kick, he guards. I hold it, he guards, right? He's always going to guard that. Now, when I hold R2, he's going to crouch. So I'm going to just dot light kick, and I'm just going to immediately hold R2, so he should be able to crouch and guard it, right? So let's examine that scenario. Right, he's crouching, at least he's trying to crouch, but notice that he's not crouching in time. And so this is where the unblockable stuff comes in, and this game gets really cheap. And timing, because of that, each character has one light attack that is, I don't know, a super normal, a super normal, you know, a super normal light. It recovers faster than everything else that they have. These are good because these are what allow you to get setups like this, right? This is unblockable. He blocks my light kick, I dash up, I get a throw. He can't do anything out of that, right? It's nothing he could do out of that. depending on the distance. Now, Patch's a pretty slow character. He doesn't have a great dash, so he has to be right up on you in order to get that to happen. But if he has speed up, then it becomes a lot more damning, you know. A lot more damning, a lot more consistent that he's going to get that guaranteed. Now, in this scenario, dashing is a very valid and important step, you know, because that allows you to pick up that damage. That's a decent amount of damage, you know. That's a decent amount of damage, you know, for free. Anytime that you block her light kick and she's within range, she gets that grab. However, the more damning and dangerous side is this. Being able to get this, which is a lot harder, mind you, it's a lot harder, and you have to be very close to them. But this is unblockable. Anytime that you block her light kick high, that is unblockable. And it's important because you can continue that into something like doesn't that, yo, that's a decent pickup of damage right there. That's not what I wanted either though. That's what I wanted. That's the combo, right? That is a lot of damage to get for free, you know. That is a lot of damage to get for free. That is a combo, and that's part of why I like this game. I also think it's just completely fucked up, but I think that's part of the cool aspects about it, is that every character has something that is just really fucked up, right? And the fact that you do have defensive tools, you do have a backdash that is iframes pretty much throughout the entire animation, just has recovery frames. You have a parry, which parries everything high mid section, but you can beat it by doing lows. And fireballs, you can't be parried, they just block it, and so they take chip damage. You have your special moves, which have iframes pretty much throughout the startup, which they act as reversals. So anytime that they do anything, you know, it's like another defensive option, a defensive and offensive option, you know. So you do have tools to avoid situations like this. But in this specific scenario, it seems to be the one scenario where you cannot have a defensive act to counter this. You cannot do anything to avoid this, because if you look, he can't even duck. That's how long it takes him to duck. That's how long it takes him to duck, right there. He's ducking as soon as he can. That's as soon as he can duck. That's as soon as he can act. That's as soon as he can act. Right? So in this scenario, you can't reverse out of it. You can't parry out of it. You can't backdash out of it. You can't super out of it. Soupy out of it. There's no soupy. There's nothing you can do out of this scenario. And it seems to be it seems to me that every character has one of these normals, which they're like super normals. They lead to unblockable BS. You know, that's probably the best thing to do, honestly, is to crouch, because that is, at least they have to try to work. Well, either way, they do have to try to work for it, but it's like, that's just a lot of damage to take, you know, and you just want to cover your bases and not take that damage. But there's going to come a time, and there's going to come a point where they're just going to, the action's going to be happening. They're going to jump in. You're going to jump in, and I believe that's also a scenario. If you take a jump in kick, if you take any sort of jump in, it's unblockable. You block any jump in, they got a chance to do some unblockable stuff on you, right? Which, okay, timing for that is a bit weirder. A lot of, I just want to get it once, even though it's going to be the same combo. I guess you just have to get it really meaty, you know, really deep in there, which is perfect because typically that's what you want to do anyway. You don't want to throw it out like way up here, because if you do that, then what's going to happen is they're just going to do something like that. You know, you typically want to avoid throwing out something way up here. You typically want to. And also they got moves that can iframe through it, you know, so anything that you do when you jump in the air, you are at a big risk whenever you take off the ground. You are in a big risk. You are in a big risk. And you should know that. Spinoza specifically has a very, very punishing punish for jump-ins, which is, see if I can do it. You know, something like that, right? It's a lot of damage, right? I didn't even get the full combo, but that's already a lot of damage, right? Just from you being in the air. You know, anytime you're in the air, you're at risk of losing a big chunk of life. You know, and so yeah, and that's not even to mention that on a jump in, you get the free throw, you know, if they block it. So you also get that. So I like to call them super normals because it turned every aspect of this game. You know, from this point of the screen, from full screen to this side of the screen, it's all a battle to get something like that, right? So every moment of space on the field is a battle and a chance to do fucked up shit. Feels to me, what it feels like is like every movement aspect of this game feels like a combo sequence. You know, the combos may not be like 10, 15, 20 hits, but they are meaningful hits. But you know, they may not be hits of that magnitude, but you know, every decision that you make is a chance. It gives that same sensation of a combo, you know, like just doing the dash, just, you know, covering distance, timing it right, getting good block strings after you finally set them up with a lot of lows. Which brings me back to the point which your whole battle is going to be conditioning them, and then finally getting something like that, and then you get something like that. But you see, it's not something that you can just get so easily off of that. For you're going to mostly have to get like a speed dash for it, a speed taunt to get it like in, to get it like real close. You know, like that. You know, that's where the speed taunt comes in. And that's where the whole field feeling like a combo opportunity, feeling like a chance to do some messed up stuff. You're always fighting for position, and now every character having these normals that are just so deadly to go along with the fact that jumping is a death sentence in this game. Well, that's half your life right there, all because you jumped and she had speed. As long as they get the timing down. Right. And you may be like, how is that balanced? How is that balanced? Well, I like the idea of a fighting game that has balance through being equal opportunity. Balance to me isn't you have to pull off 50 hits just to do 30% damage. You know, that's not balanced to me. That's boring. To me, that's like conditioning the mind to thinking that the extraordinary is the norm. He has a super light or a super normal, right? This right here and that right there, I think. Maybe that too, I don't know. Let's see. His light kick pushes back too far. So there's too much pushback for him to get anything off of that. He can get a throw off of it. So that it is still fucked up. Don't get it twisted. Anytime you block his light kick, he can get a throw off of it. Unless he's like a distance from you, which is where you typically want to be at. Which is why the neutral game or the footsies part of this game is so important, because you cross this thin red line and everybody has something fucked up. Everybody has something fucked up, right? He has it, which is the timing. You have to get used to the timing. Like I said, the timing is very specific. It kind of becomes like a command grab. You know, you time it right. Same thing with his light punch, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, same thing. Maybe he doesn't have one. Maybe he doesn't. So he's more honest. More honest for being a character who has an infinite. He doesn't have this ability. But he does get this, which is equally as fucked up. Right. He does have that. So anytime you block one of his lights up close, and he could dash and get it as well. Grab, and I'm gonna just hold it. Okay. So if he's dashing, he still gets grabbed. And I'm gonna dash and try to grab her. Right? I'm gonna dash from a distance. Right? I could be this far away and get it. I can be that far away and still get the dash on her. And get the grab. And you know, this is his normal that has a lot of pushback, mind you. So we're gonna try with the light punch again. So he could basically, anytime he lands that on you, he gets it. Anytime. Right? Anytime he lands this on you, it's a grab. So you better crouch that. You better try to crouch it. You better try to crouch that. You better try to crouch this. And this is without speed up, mind you. This is without speed up. If we give him speed up, then you're basically just gonna get grabbed all over the screen. You know, you're just gonna get grabbed. You better get good at predicting, backdashing, throwing out some parries, doing your best iframe moves, you know. Do out your best iframe moves. You make some good jumps, but you jump in, then you're also putting yourself in danger. Just apply the pressure yourself, and you know, just I don't know, man. It's wild. This game is pretty wild. And then that's not even to mention that he has the infinite, the only infinite that I've been able to find so far, which I'm sure there's more, which comes from doing this. You know. Which is like this. Let's see. I'm gonna have her dash, so she'll dash out of it anytime she's able to. Too high. Too high. Too high. Aye. Which is why I said I don't think he's that top tier. But if it doesn't matter how hard it is to do, if it can be done, it's going to be done. You know, if it can be done, it's not the most difficult thing to do, but it is very timely. I can do more. I can at least get 3. And that's good. That's good damage, you know. Even if you could get that, that's 55, 65, 60% damage right there. You know, that alone. And I only did 3 reps of it. And the reason why this is even possible is because I made a combo video about it, you know, talking about the tech. It's because of the double stagger, right? You see how he staggers back twice right there? That's what I mean by the double stagger / air stagger, because it also works in the air, you know. And that's how you get your combo starters for every character. And that only happens when you have a heavy or a special move, light or heavy. As long as you hit without getting the knockdown portion. Something about a move having a knockdown portion but having hits before that triggers the double stagger. So as long as you don't knock them down, they get staggered twice, you know. But if you finish it off, then they just knock down, you know. Right, so it will stagger back twice, or it will stay staggered in the air longer, which allows you to get crazy with some of these combos. Well, now I got her air staggered right there. That's a combo right there. Or do any form of stagger, you could get multiple juggle points. This game, you only get 1 juggle point in there, and then you get nothing else. Unless it's a special move, it doesn't hit multiple times. And this is what allows you to get somewhat saucy, right? I could probably get a super after that too. All right, so I'll save it right here. Moral of this story is you can jump if you want to. Hey. Too many hits. I wonder, does this have iframes on it? It doesn't. In case of little Miss Cena, see how such a slow jump that he can still pick up. There we go. I was doing it too early. Oh, come on. Oh, that was good. If I could close the distance with one of those jumps. Too much. Oh, that was it. That was it. That was it. Okay. I gotta hold down a little after until like the very last moment of the heavy punch, because it's not enough charge time for it. Oh, where's the dash? Where's the dash up? Oh. there we go. There we go. See, there we go. That's what you can get off of an air punish, right? That took me about 30 minutes. That took me about next to an hour. Yes, sure. Sure what? It could happen. It could happen. It's even more possible to happen because he has a light version of that too. The only thing is the light version only has 2 hits. But because of that, you know, so it could catch. It could catch. So it'll be like, you just have to do it lower to the ground. You know, so you can see the value of having an iframe version of this. You probably see the value in it. You know, in short, you can't jump in on him. You can't jump in on this dude ever. If they know how to, if you know the timing, you can't jump in on him. You know, even that is a lot of damage to get off of a jump in punish. That is a lot to get, right? Of course he has rage, but you know, of course he has rage, but still. And the fucked up part about this is, let's say he doesn't even finish the combo. Let's see if we set this up. He essentially does that, dashes up to you, and he's right up in your face. Because you can parry mids and highs, he's not gonna throw out a high. He'll throw out a low, and you'll block it. You'll block it. You'll block that. Because you block that, you know. So he has a lot of options, even if he messes up off of it, right? You know, even if he messes up off of it. We looking like a barnacle boy with our outfit. Alright. There we go. Get back. That's so fucked up. Imagine there's characters who have that low, but that's their go-to.